A lot of people get analysis paralysis and they'll just sit there and they'll plan their first video for 3 months. And any of you listening, if you, especially if you have 0 videos on your channel, your first video is not going to get views, period. It's not. Your first 10 are not going to get views. I can very confidently say that. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end, and just get to work and start uploading. Like, all you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking, like maybe you can get some views, but you know, your first 100 are gonna suck.
What advice would you give yourself when you were starting out?
Your videos suck. You think your videos are good, but they suck. You know, they just do. And the sooner you learn how to make great videos that people actually want to watch, the sooner you'll get views. I think is the biggest takeaway. Because like when I was 14, I thought my videos were the best in the world. They weren't. They were terrible. Many people are making way better videos than me, but I didn't think that. And I think, you know, to be successful, you kind of have to have a little bit of that ego where you're like, you know, my content's great. You got to believe in it. But also, like, if you have sub 1,000 subscribers, like, there's a good probability your videos just suck. They just do. And you need to make hundreds of videos or 100 videos, I don't know, depends on the difficulty of your videos, improve something every time, and just like get to the point where they don't. When you make good content, you'll blow up. It's not the algorithm, it's not anything. It's just like me and most people who are in my position, you just make terrible videos. And that's okay, because you got to make a bunch of videos and improve over time to be great. Like, you don't just pick up a baseball and become an MLB level athlete within a year. You know, it takes many years, and YouTube's kind of the same way.
How do you improve something each time?
The second one, just, I don't know, put more effort into the script. The third one, try to learn a new editing trick. The fourth one, try to figure out a way that you can have better inflections in your voice. The fifth one, try to, you know, study a new thumbnail tip and implement it. The sixth one, try to figure out a new title. There's infinite ways. That's the beauty of content creation online. There's literally infinite ways, from the coloring to the frame rate to the editing to the filming to the production to the jokes to the pacing, to every little thing can be improved, and they can never not be improved.
The thing is, it's all knowledge. It really is. And like, every time I say this, people debate it to the end of time on Twitter, but I don't care. Like, I could start a new channel tomorrow with not using my face or my voice, like without ever promoting it, and in 6 months have 20 million subscribers. I just could. Yeah. It's purely knowledge. Like, if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now within 6 months. It really is just knowledge. And I can already tell you 90% of the people watching, they don't agree with that. They don't. And everyone has excuses, and they're always like, nah, YouTube just doesn't work like that, Jimmy. You don't understand. But I mentor a lot of people. I see it even to this day. I still see it all the time. It is possible. It is simply knowledge. And the second you accept that it is knowledge, and you start your, for me, 10,000 day journey of learning, for you, whatever it is, if you want to be less hardcore, and like actually figuring out, you know, what makes a good video, what does my audience want, how can I elevate, and then you take that knowledge and you just assume that I will never understand what the perfect video is, and every single day I just need to be devoted to learn. What YouTube wants is they want people to click on a video and they want to watch it. Like, at its core, that's what it is. Now, you can like draw little lines and go as deep as you want into how to get people to click and how to get people to watch. I mean, essentially, by studying the algorithm, you'll learn that you're more studying human psychology, right? What do humans want to watch?
What do you think gets us to 1 million subscribers?
Well, subscribers is an arbitrary number.
Okay, so a million views of video.
No, you should ask me, what helps us make the best videos possible? That's the only question you should ask me. Subscribers don't matter. Views don't matter. I mean, they do, but all that comes. Everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible, and thumbnails. But it's easier to, you know, make thumbnails. The video part's the hard part, and that's the thing that you're known for.
What makes for a good title? Short?
Not just short. It's also, if someone reads it, are they like, do they have to watch it? Is it just so intrinsically interesting that it's just gonna quit them if they don't click on it? You know what I mean? Ideally, it's a title also that, you know, because the titles don't live in a vacuum, right? So it has to lead into the content. So ideally, the title represents content that you would want to watch for 20 minutes. So if it's a 20-minute video and the title is "I stepped on a bug," the click-through rate is going to be much lower than if it was like a 5-second video. Like, even nuances of the length of the video based against the title will affect whether people want to click it, because sometimes they just don't add up. I mean, it's that, yes, ideally you want it below 50 characters, because above 50 characters on certain devices, you run the chance of it going ... So like, I took a light pole and I saw how many dollar bills I could stack on top, and they would just go ... because it's too long and it can't finish it. And that's the worst thing, because then people don't even know what they're clicking on. And so it's going to do even worse. Short, simple, ideally, and just so freaking interesting, they have to click. and it is a good segue into the content, and it represents the length of the content. The more extreme the opinion, typically the higher the click-through rate. If you can like pay it off in the content, then it just supercharges it. So like,
so you have a kind of estimate of the extreme.
here, like this water, right? If you're like, Fiji water sucks.
Yeah,
that would do fine. But if you said Fiji water, it's the worst water I've ever drank in my life.
Yeah.
Way more extreme opinion would do way better. we get better at making thumbnails every year. So it's more, when I upload a thumbnail, I usually think it's good and I don't change it most of the time. But what happens is like 3 years later, I look back and I'm like, oh, that's a horrible thumbnail. And so it's usually like every 2 years, we just go back and update a lot of our older thumbnails just because they're terrible. Just with like the new knowledge we have and what we've learned. And funny enough, that actually usually does help quite a bit when we update the thumbnails on old videos. They usually do see a little bit of an uptick because they're just, if we take an old thumbnail where it's like seeing if whatever, like 100,000 magnets can stop a car, and it just looks terrible. And then with the new stuff, I know we zoom in a little bit so it's a little more visible and make things look better. Then magically it starts doing a little bit better because now people actually understand what it is because I'm not as much of an idiot anymore.
I thought I was going to be a loser.
Well, and you take it a step further because I thought, especially if you're like extremely passionate about something at a young age, where most kids aren't, then it's more exacerbated that it's like, I didn't talk to anyone. I hardly had any friends because I was so obsessed with YouTube. As back then, just no one cared. So it's like, I thought I was just like, just didn't even know how to speak. Like literally, I just couldn't hold a conversation with a single person because people would just tell me all you talk about is YouTube. And I would try to talk about something else. But back then I was so hyper obsessed and I literally just didn't know how to.
But what were you obsessed about? Were you obsessed about other channels, your channel?
Everything from like learning how to editing, the pacing of the videos, like ideas, what's going viral, what's trending, what's hot. Especially back then I had no idea what worked. I mean, I had to like self-teach myself everything, even, frame rate on cameras, coloring of the video, just stuff like that.
And how did you learn? Did you learn from YouTube?
Yeah, well...
So like YouTube videos and tutorials or something?
Most of my growth came actually after I graduated high school. Basically what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. 3 of us were college dropouts, 1 was a high school dropout, and 1, I don't know, he just like quit his job. We were all super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. And we would just call it like daily masterminds. We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again.
And do what I do better than me. It's not possible. If I thought someone was doing better than me, I'd just start sleeping less so I could work even more. Like I'd figure it out. I don't give
The barrier to entry to BU is extremely high.
Yeah.
Right? Especially where you're
Well,
at
it's just because
now.
I'm all in. I'm crazy. Like people shouldn't be me. I don't have a life. I don't have work-life balance. My personality, my soul, my being is making the best videos possible, entertaining my fans as best as I can. Like that is what exists on this planet. And I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? Like you should have work-life balance. You should not devote your entire life to this one thing. Like go have fun. Like, I'm miserable a lot of times. I have a mental breakdown every other week because I push myself so hard. Like I don't recommend it,